Hello, welcome to the Art Hitman. I'm Perry McCants, and today I'm going to show you how to draw two people fighting. Alright, for this video I want to start off by putting in lightly our mechanical structure. I definitely want you to have a good, positive, and fun attitude towards this one. It's one of those challenging drawings that usually it takes a while for people to grasp. So I'm going to teach you how to draw two people fighting. So first thing, as you see here, I already started off in the center of the page with the first person's head. He's going to be our aggressor. He's going to be the attacker. So if you see, I put in the head, and then what you want to do is just immediately put in the oval shape for the body, just like this. And as I usually say in most of my videos, it's usually two heads to a torso. So if you see, I took my index and my thumb and I put here and then here. So as you can see, it's going to take two of those. So when you measure two heads, it should come to about here. So I'll go ahead and add that in just for a little bit of length so it's proportionate right. Once you've taken that and divided in half for two heads, and I put a line here just so you can see where the two heads are fit in equal size, you want to go ahead and draw a circle right here, because this is where his arm is going to be. And in the early stages of your drawing, you always want to make sure you lightly put stuff in, as I always repeat, and so that when you go back later on, you don't have to do too much erasing. So from here, after this circle, you want to move down to the elbow and put another small circle for the elbow, as you see I placed here. Then bring a line that goes up past the torso here. This is where his fist is going to go. So you want to go ahead and put a circle where his wrist is. So far you have 1, 2, 3 circles, one large one for the shoulder, elbow, and the wrist. After you put the wrist in place, you want to put a block shape for the fist. Whenever you're drawing the human anatomy or figure, you always want to block the fist in or give it some type of square shape. That way it's easy to recognize what things are when you're drawing and you don't forget. Alright, so right off the edge of this line here, the center line, you want to come up just up to where the face is, or the head, the circle for the shape of his head. And the reason why that is because his other arm is going to be extended outward past where his chest is, because he's going to be striking the other person. So from this line to this line, you want to go back, like I said in most of the time in most of my videos, your index finger and your thumb will measure where you want to put your elbow. So I put my thumb right here at the edge of his chest, and then I stopped it right here so I can mark it. As you see, I got a little mark here. So that's where I know where my elbow is going to go. Then you can do the same thing with the forearm to the wrist, elbow to the wrist. Same thing. These are very simple, easy steps. This is just so that you know where things are in relation to the other, so that you don't forget what size the arms is in relation to the other side. Because sometimes what happens is if you don't do this, you tend to make one arm longer than the other and it doesn't look natural. Okay, so now we're just about done here, believe it or not. So you want to take a line from this oval shape that I have here. You want to bring that out this way. So that way he's lunging or leaning in towards the person that's being attacked. You want to put a line here, or sorry, an oval here for the waist, and then put a line here through the oval shape. That way you know which way his leg's going to go. Put the left leg, put a circle here, have that come out first off the page, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And do the same thing for the right leg, and have the right leg going back. Now notice with the pose, this left arm is back, so the left leg is going to move forward and it's going to do the reverse. This is something in all these type of running poses or fighting poses. The right arm is going to come forward, and the right arm, or excuse me, the right leg is going to go back. That's just something to throw out there, let you know, just if you draw, you never forget what positions the body's supposed to be in. And now we're going to draw the person that's being attacked. So you want to go ahead and draw an oval shape right here. And the way you plant it is you plant it that his fist is going just past his head shape. Then you'd want to draw a line for his neck that comes down to about here, and then stop. And then there's going to be an oval shape that you want to lightly put in where his fist is going to be under that. So that way when you structure his body in, you're going to use two heads again really quick. 1, 2. So I know that his torso is going to come down about here where I marked it. I'm going to go ahead and put that oval shape in here. Now, a line's going to run through his upper body down to where his waist is. And then I'm going to go ahead and put his waist in with the oval shape. Now, the same way I have the shoulder here, you want to do it here, just below where his fist is. So you want to put a circle in here. You want to bring a line down to here, stop, put his elbow in, just like I did with the first figure, and have this arm come up. Then you want to go ahead and put a circle for his wrist. And as I mentioned before, you want to box that in. All right. With the center line, you want to bring it over, just like I did with this guy, because they have the other side of his body and his chest is going to come out to here. Then what you're going to do is, the way I would measure this is take your finger and move it right in the center here, and then mark the other side where you want the shoulder to be. This shoulder is going to drop down, and it's going to come over about here. And you want to bring a line in just like this, and then have his other fist come up like this. And block that in. Now for his leg, you're going to, as I said before, you have this right arm coming forward, so his right leg should be going back, and then vice versa. His left leg should be coming forward, and then his right arm should be where it is. All right, now I'm ready to move to the next portion of the face, where I start to add a little bit of detail and features. So we're going to start with our bruiser here, our antagonist, a guy that's actually going to be the aggressor. So for this guy, you want to go ahead and start right on the edge of this oval shape. And I'll go ahead and put these lines in for you. You want a line here and a line here. This is for the eyes and the nose. So you want to go ahead and then have the nose come out and then come around like this. Underneath the nose, where the nose line is, I'm going to put a line for the mouth so you can see it there. You want to put the mouth in. The mouth is going to come back and around just like this. He has his mouth open, and the reason he has his mouth open is because he's going to be gritting his teeth. And this shows pretty much aggression, as the character is going to be punching. And then you bring the chin around, stop it here. And you want to come back up like this. Now where I have the eye line and the nose line, right there you want to drop his ear in, right back here. Then you want to bring the top of his head around so we could get this shape of his head done. You want to come out a little further than what the ear is. And then bring that in just like that. The reason why you want to draw the back of the skull behind the ear is just because you want the right proportion of the head to be, if you notice, if I put a line here, it's going to separate the front to the back. And then come down for his neck. And you can go ahead and come back up here and then put his eyebrow in, which he'll have, of course, an enraged look. Eyebrow's going to come down to the line where the eye line is. And you want to put the eye in right underneath it, just like this. And he's going to be squinting a little bit. For this drawing, I'm not going to do too much detail in the face in regards to the iris and all, because they're a little further away. It's more like a medium shot, not a close-up. All right. I'm going to go back and put detail in the ear here. And for his teeth, you want to put a simple line like this, and then bring it down and back up. So now we're going to move down to his neck, the other part of his neck. Make a line just like this. From behind his ear, you're going to bring a line straight down like this. Now, once you start to put his body in, you want to go ahead and put a circle right here, because he's going to be wearing a tight muscle shirt. So just underneath where his chin is, you want to bring the outside of his chest here. And then you want to bring the other side down just like this. And bring it underneath this oval shape. This oval shape is going to become where his shoulder is. So once you finish sketching that in, go right ahead and follow this circle line around as you see it here, because this is going to create his shoulder. Come off the back and do the other side of the shoulder. Now what you can do is you can actually, let me get rid of this line here. You can come down with the bicep. The bicep is simply going to be a line that comes down and stop just before the elbow line here, and then stop. And you want to bring this side of the arm down and around where the elbow circle is here. So for our first attacker, he's going to be kind of thick, you know, a fairly large guy. So you want his muscles to be a little thicker. So just widen up the pencil strokes so that he can appear to be bigger than the other guy. Once you have that done, from behind his neck, you want to take this line and go out and around the back, right over where this tricep muscle is. And then on the other side, it's going to come up higher off of here and go right to the center, as you see here. 1 and then 2. So a lot of these are land markings and maps that you can kind of create as you're drawing a figure. Do the same thing. You want to come across this bicep and tricep here to create the muscle shirt look. It's just a simple arc, just like that. And you can start to put his upper body in here. Now we're going to start to draw his fist. For his fist, I usually like to do like circles that go in steps. This one here, the middle knuckle is always going to come up higher, then this one's going to kind of come here, and the pinky is always going to drop the lowest, and then the thumb is going to have a pretty big circle here. So this is going to help out with the fist structure, and it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to take a line that's going to go here and come off of this and come around and then stop. And you're not going to see the rest of the fist, so you're going to just bring this around like this, and I'm going to show you, and then close this up. Do the same thing here. You can always go back in later and get rid of these circles that represent the knuckle. The reason why that is there, so you know which knuckle is which and how high they need to be, and what's the lowest being the pinky. Now we're going to work on his left arm, or right arm, excuse me. We're going to come from this circle and draw the bicep, and this bicep's going to go back just like this. And then his tricep is going to come out around like this because he's extending his arm, and stop right where this circle is. Then you're going to come back around and you're going to do his forearm and stop it right there. And then come underneath and repeat the same shape, and it's going to wrap around. And then, as you see here, you're going to come in the middle right where the circle is. Always use these as landmarks. Off this circle, you're going to take a simple line and come back, and that's how you're going to create that bicep separating from the tricep muscle. Now for his right fist, you're going to simply put a circle here right where this circle is. This is the wrist. When you put this circle, you're going to come out and bring a square shape right off of this circle, because what it's going to do is create his knuckle there, and you're going to have his index finger come back around like this. Now for this, you want to take a simple line that's going to come up off of this circle and then taper in like that. That's the index finger that's going to be bent. Then you're going to put another line here for the next knuckle, the other knuckle, and then for the pinky, you're going to have it come back, and it's going to close. Now we're almost done this first guy. There's a few things I want to add. I want to put a piece here. This is like a new style that I've seen lately. And then it's going to come back onto the top of his head like this. And I'll go back in and add stuff later. This is just so I don't forget. So usually what I do is I do pieces like this and then go back in later on to add the detail, and it'll help you out when you start stuff and then you go back and say, oh, I remember why I did that. So now what we're going to do is put the bottom part of his shirt in here and then have it come off the back of the bottom of his elbow around like that. Now he's wearing a pair of jeans, so we're going to have the jean line come in like this, and then it's going to go off the edge of the page, and do the same thing here. Because once you get to the jeans, they're not as important because there's not a lot of detail at all. And then you can maybe add one wrinkle and then put a pocket on here if you want. Now we can work on the guy that's being struck. But before that, I want to take and put a few lines here for his fist being punched. Now for our guy that's actually being struck, you want to take a line and divide the page in, oh sorry, not the page, you want to divide his head in half and then put eyes here. I wanted to simplify a little bit and make him have some shades on, so you want to create some shades. Come straight across like this and then come in, taper it up, almost like a W shape. For the guys that, you guys that are starting out and getting used to shapes, this is a simple W. And then you put a line across like that. Now once you put that in, you can take his nose and just do a line simply like that, and then just come around at the bottom like a V shape. Now he's being punched, so we want to make his mouth kind of doing like this. It's almost like a greater than and less than sign. So you want to come up in his nose and put his mouth almost like a less than or greater than sign, and then box it off like this. And you can shade the rest of this in, and I'm doing that now so that you can follow what I'm doing. It's not too confusing to create the mouth. You can blacken this in with your pencil. Put the outside of his face in here, and then bring this side around, and this will be his jaw. Now for the top of his hair, I'm going to go ahead and structure that a little bit. You want to come in and put 2 lines here, because I always like to create the hairline so it looks a little bit more realistic. And then bring the hairline in like this. Lightly put it in again. Don't go too dark too soon, as I always say, because then you'll have to go back and try and get rid of it later, and it'd be a little harder. And just close the top of his head off like this. Now we can go ahead and add his ear in. Drop his ear in right there, and then bring that neckline that I had in earlier all the way around. And he's going to be wearing a tank top, so I wanted these guys to kind of almost have a back alley or a fight club look. So they do this every day. Maybe they box after work or something like that. So for his back, you're going to have an arc coming around like this. We're going to do the same thing we did with this guy and do his shoulder. So just have a line come in, darken that in. And at this point you can go dark because I'm going over top of what I've done earlier. Then have the back side of his shoulder come in and around like that, as you see. And then do his bicep. He's a little thinner, so you don't want his bicep thick like this. You want to make it a little thinner, and then come around to the elbow and move over the other side and make his bicep and come down like that. And then you can have his forearm come in, and the way you can do that is just have a line come over in and then up to the wrist, and do the same thing for the bottom and close it off. All right. Then you can go ahead and start getting his fist done. The fist is fairly simple. I'm going to do it as simple as possible by bringing this line that comes out. For the thumb, you want to come over and then come down like this. To measure it, just draw a circle right next to that. And then what you can do is you can just have a line come out like this, which is going to be for his index finger. And then you can do his knuckle, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, like I did here. And then you can come back in and just put his fist in very lightly. And again, you can always go back and add detail later or clean up whatever you need to do. I normally do that with every drawing. For right now, this is a rough drawing. Okay, so then we can come back and do his chest. You want a simple line that comes from under his thumb up on the other side. You want to come down and then do what I already had here earlier and bring that line in for the chest, and then have his back come around, and then he's going to bring the back side of his rib cage in here. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and then 3 for his waist. Bring a line up like this, and then you want to have his waistline come in just like that. Now for his pants, I did go ahead and put in some belt lines. Like here, you put 2 lines in. I call them number 11s. You want to go put 11 here, and then for his buckle, you can put something in the front there like that. Now for his pants, you can have the same thing as I did here, come around, have a line come up like this, and you can just kind of suggest the pant leg as it comes off the page. You can have it go down like that, and you don't have to do too much to that. You can add a pocket for the jean and then have it come down to the side. Now, only thing we have to do now is put in his other arm. So for his other arm, you want to bring it around like this, and then his biceps going to come through to the other side, and it's going to be kind of, it's going to be behind, it's going to be behind this wrist here, and then you want to bring the forearm up like this, and then you want to bring the other side of the arm behind it like that. Bring it behind it, and then bring this up like this, because the other fist is going to be back behind everything, so it's going to be slightly smaller. And then you can put wrinkles and things like that for his tank top. And go ahead and put the tank top in so you can see. For the tank top, you do a U shape, as you see I did here. Have this shape come around this arm and have it come in like that, and then come under, if you follow my pencil, and come back around like this again. And tank top is a very simple shape to put on the body. I recall doing it all the time when I was younger drawing. So if you follow me up to this point, you just drawn 2 guys fighting. And what I'll do at this point is erase, clean up everything, and do a time lapse and add some detail, and then that'll complete the drawing.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by clicking this round button at the bottom. Also, click one of the 2 videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you.
The Art Hitman.